Welcome to Disturbed Season 6, Episode 4, appropriately named Chapter 4. I'm Rob Southgate. What?
Or Cricket. Oh, no. I'm going to change it.
Oh, no!
Oh, no!
I'm Rob Southgate.
I'm Chris Mao.
Hey, Chris Mao. And we are on Twitter. You can follow us on Twitter at DisturbedPod. Chris, if they want to contact you directly, what's the Twitter account? Or say it with he's miming, folks. That's what we're seeing now. We don't hear anything, Chris. There we go. Uh-oh. You got a bad cord?
I shouldn't have, but I might. How about that? Better?
Yeah, that's better.
Okay. Helps when you plug things in. Sorry.
Yeah, all the way?
All the way.
So, all right. So what's your Twitter handle?
Absolutely. I can be found at Blue Box Cafe.
Yep, you cut out again.
I haven't touched anything.
That's so weird. Try it one more time. Eventually, you're going to get it out there. And this is not that eventually. I hear you when you move, so there's got to be something with the microphone.
But I'm not touching anything. So
it's weird because when you move, I hear the mic go. Is it the mic on your headphones?
No.
Huh.
Can you hear me or not?
Yeah, I hear you now.
It's the mic, my other mic.
Interesting. All right. Introduce yourself and we'll edit that part out. Those of you watching at home, hey, you got a little bonus content, which was terrible.
Bogus content. My name is it's Chris Mao. Are we going to start over? What do you want to do?
Just do Chris Mao and then give your social media, man.
Chris Mao. I can be found at www.theblueboxcafe.com or Blue Box Cafe or Blue Box Cafe 176 on social media.
Yes. All right. I want to reset my thing here. So I've got a different thing down at the bottom. So Chris, this isn't automatically switching.
Is it switching? No,
I've got to manually do it. So I'll just manually switch it back and forth when one of us is kind of taking the lead on talking. All right, man. First 5 minutes. You sent me a tweet this week and you're like, oh my God, the first 5 minutes.
Yes, I did.
The first 5 minutes, we have that insane piggy in the house thing.
Yes.
That was frightening.
Yeah, it's one more scare tactic after the other, but this time the piggy's in the house and there's actual, there's physicalness, which I don't think I'd seen before, where there never was because Matt tackles Piggy and knocks him away, and then the piggy's knife falls to the ground and they're running around,
yes,
in typical horror story fashion. And then,
yeah, Dennis O'Hare shows up, Elias.
Yes.
And this was, first of all, unexpected.
Yes.
Second of all, how awesome was this?
Uh-huh.
When he shows up and he goes, Croatoan!
Yeah.
And Piggy, poof. And you're like, what is going on? I didn't think that we were going to see Dennis O'Hare. I thought we were going to get those, kind of the Doctor Who and Blink thing. Like he's always on the camera going, here's what's going on. But instead, he walks into the room.
Yes.
Lays it all out there. Piggy, now here's an interesting thing. We find this out as the episode goes on, but you mentioned how Piggy was physical.
Yes.
I thought Piggy was a ghost. When this happened, I was like, oh, Piggy's not a ghost. But what we learn later, Piggy's a ghost.
Yes, we do learn later Piggy's a ghost. And
this happens to be his time or their time.
Correct.
Crazy.
Yeah, it was kind of neat because they're definitely messing with us and setting I hate to say changing the bar, but changing the rules of the game as we go. So you really don't know what's going on until they explain it. And then we probably still don't know what's going on even after that. So
no. And in fact, I think that our theory about which one is real and which one isn't is wrong. Although I'm pretty convinced that when they keep putting up that, dramatic depiction or whatever, I think that is what that is. But I think that what's going to happen is we're going to find out, maybe we'll find out that it was all real and it's going to change format.
Right.
Like Piggy shows up on set or, who knows? But I think that it's going to completely change format here in the 6th episode because they said the 6th episode is when a big reveal happens. I think it's going to be a complete format change or I just don't know. This has me guessing. I've got 1,000 guesses on here. The funny thing is, when I was taking my notes for this, I don't know if it'll show up on here. Look at all the exclamation points.
Yeah, I had a lot too.
I never do that. It's just when I'm like, oh my gosh, Dennis O'Hare. Oh my gosh, Croatoan. Mac tackles him. Yeah. It's like one after the other. Oh, and didn't he hit Piggy with an axe? Is that what he used?
Dennis O'Hare hits Piggy in the back with an axe.
Right, and then Piggy gets back up, right?
Right. Well, because Piggy is theoretically undead, and so because he's a ghost,
Right.
but he's in physical form, so I don't know if the axe would hurt him or not. And so
well, it seemed to hurt him enough to knock him down.
Right.
But I don't think it hurt him enough to knock him out of the story.
Right, to kill him or whatever. And then because obviously he got up and was squealing, and then Dennis O'Hare banished him with Croatoan. So
it's amazing. I mean, this opening 5 minutes was one of the sweetest things they've had on here. I was mesmerized through that whole thing. And it's got to be what's his name as Piggy, right?
Oh, Evan Peters?
It's got to be Evan Peters.
I think so.
Putting him in the credits, he hasn't shown up yet. I think it makes perfect sense. I did notice, though, this time. Last time you had told me that what's his name was her son, was the butcher's son.
Yeah.
This time I was like, oh, it was so obvious to me that it was him. But because you had told me, if you hadn't told me, I would have kept going, he's supposed to be in this. Where is he? Totally obvious. And I think the same is going to be true of Evan Peters. I think that when we see it's Piggy, we're going to go, of course it's Evan Peters.
Yeah.
And I think we're going to get him without the pig head in the second half of the season.
Yeah. So, I mean, is the second half of the season going to be that they kill, this is one theory I'm thinking now, that they actually get killed by the
who gets killed, the couple.
The couple gets killed, and then they become part of that, the group of people that are still living there, and then they from the other side of the veil have to take care of the butcher.
Oh,
I'm wondering if that's what happens.
Well, the witch, they call her the forest witch.
Yes,
she is way into Matt, and I think this is a really interesting thing too, because in the first one, it was like, okay, well, that makes sense. It's all these pagan rituals and all this stuff that's going on. This time we found out it was very specifically Matt. And she lured him in there. And then when the spell was broken and he went away from her, she was very upset. Does she need him to hold her power over the butcher, do you think? Do you think there's a behind-the-scenes power struggle about to happen?
I don't know. Or is she actually still alive? And she's just living.
Oh, the witch?
The witch is still alive because of her, magical powers, and she needs that to stay alive. Because you notice in the scene where they revisit, and then the witch takes Cricket back to see what happened in the village.
Yeah,
that everyone die but her. So is she still alive and running around, and is just this witch who lives?
Yeah, because she kills the butcher too. Right. Oh my gosh! What was that scene? How great was that?
Yeah, that was that was like a John Carpenter scene sitting right there.
Kathy Bates goes on her knees and just takes that, just cuts her throat. You're like, wow.
Yeah, she definitely was into that. I hate to say that role, but it's obvious that she loves the power that she has over people and over things because she does that. So,
well, and the whole butcher thing, how we saw that they were thriving. I thought that was an interesting story. They were thriving, but it was all kind of the butcher doing these weird rituals and things.
Sure.
This was another thing that I loved in this one, was when they said, oh, it's the devil. She's possessed by the devil. And I think it was Cricket said, oh no, there's stuff much older and much darker than that.
Right.
And they show us Lady Gaga. They show us, what was going on there, but I don't know if she's going to be it. I kind of have a feeling that she's running from whatever it is.
Yeah, I don't even know if she's running. She, the way I was explaining it to Kathleen earlier is, I think Kathy Bates is the muscle and Lady Gaga is like the messenger, and then there's going to be some other big bad. Maybe the other big bad is Evan Peters. Who knows? Maybe it's somebody else.
Right? Maybe he's not Piggy, and he comes back and he's something else. But Piggy is definitely one of the Outlanders, the ones that had been killed by this group, that didn't live with the group that was out there in that area where they found Flora, because we saw Piggy in that group. So we know Piggy's not the big bad.
No, but I mean that maybe it's Evan Peters and it's not Evan Peters playing Piggy. I don't know. I mean, I have that feeling that there's something else behind all of this, and they're going to get into that.
I do too. I think that we're going to see something revealed. Now, one thing that could be going on too, this might be really far-fetched, but that's where we live. Dennis O'Hare solved it. He stayed there. He told them everything going on. How? If everybody else fell victim to this, how did he walk in there looking fine?
Well,
Unless he's part of it. Now, we saw him get shot with all the arrows, but
right.
that doesn't mean anything.
Right. Well, exactly. What do you think? What if he's actually dead, but he, because of the blood moon, can have a physical form and came in to warn them and still wasn't bad? But you know what? He didn't look the same. He explained why he was able to keep the house. So either
Right.
he was smart enough to set up like a trust to keep the house and he owned it to save it, or he actually is what he says and he, was able to leave the house and get
Which is a
out.
possibility, which I'm good with. I actually kind of hope his character that is true. And that
Mhm.
we saw him get killed, and now he's going to be in with that ghost group, because I think that's what we're getting set up for there too. Is the ghost group is going to be rebelling against the Roanoke group.
Right.
But I don't think that's how the whole thing's going to play out. I think there's going to be, maybe, if you're right, if Shelby and Matt have to be alive, right?
No, they don't have to be. If our theory is that the interviews are made up, then they could be dead and they just have this found footage, or they have these reports of what happened.
Okay.
I don't know. I mean,
Yeah,
maybe they are alive. I think it's very interesting, especially how you get to the Matt. Matt doesn't remember this, but then when he remembers talking about Gaga and being with the witch, he's like, I was drawn in. I really enjoyed it. I really liked the way she made me feel. There was that weird kind of interaction, and I was, it seemed like Matt knew a little bit more than he was leading on when he said, I didn't understand it. I didn't know what was happening. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, I do. I sense that too. Now, I did, and maybe that's going to be the separation between the two Matts. Maybe we're going to find out that what they're portraying on the TV show in the dramatic reenactment is different than how this Matt actually portrays it when he starts talking.
Sure.
Could be there too.
Yeah.
Flora, we saw Flora. Now, we knew Flora had to be alive, even when they were like, oh no, she's with the butcher. It's like that little girl, Priscilla, told her, the last one that's going to die is you.
Right.
So we know that Priscilla is rogue.
Yes.
Priscilla walks between those Outlanders and the Roanoke clan.
Mm-hmm.
She's kind of between the two. Butcher knows this. We know that, we were speculating that she was setting him up. I don't think she's a double agent. I think that she really is a kid who's seen a lot, who is saying, I'm going to try to protect this other kid.
Right.
Like she didn't stop for the adults, but for the kid. The kid is there. Come out here, play with us.
Right.
We'll keep you safe while this stuff goes down, because really that's what they're doing.
Right.
Stuff is going down right now.
Sure. And there's a difference because, Priscilla was not killed in that blood magic scene with Kathy Bates and the rest of the villagers.
Right.
So all of those people and their souls are kind of trapped to the butcher and trapped to the land, where the other ghosts aren't. And, even the rest of the people in that group that's like Priscilla's group, all of those other people were killed by the butcher when she was dead. Do you know what I mean? So like,
wait, was she? No, she wasn't. Wait, which ones were killed?
Priscilla
the ones in the group. Oh yeah, you're right. They were killed after the butcher was dead.
They were all occupants of the house and killed, with the exception of her and the pig. Her and the pig were killed before that blood magic. So I don't know if that means that they are, different types of ghosts.
They're not the same thing. Yeah, that could be. It's a dead harvest moon. That's what they said. The Native Americans called it a dead harvest moon. That was good. I haven't heard that term before. Uh-oh. Did you freeze, Chris? I hear nothing from Chris Mao. Well, they did call it a blood moon, but they said the Native Americans called it a dead harvest moon. Yeah, Chris, can you hear me?
Yeah, can you hear me?
Yeah, I'll have to edit that little bit out. All right, we're going to ask, as long as we've got a little pause in the action here, because Martha just yelled down, I thought it was called a blood moon. They did call it a blood moon, but when Cricket was describing it, I think it was Cricket or Elias, they said the Native Americans call it a dead harvest moon. So, am I right? I'm not sure. Is it a dead harvest moon? I lost you, Chris, totally. I hear your mic again.
I unplugged it and plugged it back in.
Okay, there we go. All So yeah, I'm not sure which one it is. I know they referred to it as a blood moon, or maybe that's what we referred to it as because it was bright red. But I wrote down when he said it that it was the dead harvest moon is what they were referring it to. Uh, oh, I got a couple of scenes I want to highlight. I got to wait for Chris to be back. I can't talk to nothing here.
I haven't touched anything. Are you there?
Yeah, it's so weird, man. As soon as you move, I hear it start to move, and then your mic kicks back on. When you're just sitting there, like right now, dead silent.
Well, I'm not talking, so.
Yeah, but I can hear your movement a little bit when the mic is working.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So I want to bring up a couple of scenes.
Okay.
Number one, we got to see the nurses drawn and quartered.
Yes.
What? What? This episode was crazy with that.
Yeah, this was a very violent episode. There was a lot of, death and dismemberment. I mean, and excuse me, I can't remember, but the Taiwanese family where they pushed the girl down the stairs, and did they show how they died or not? I can't remember.
They did not show. Oh, they showed how the dad died. Remember, the butcher came up and threw the cleaver and hit him in the chest. Right. And then we saw them in that group on the edge. Mm-hmm. But we didn't see her take out the whole family, but we know she took out the whole family.
And then the hunters in the forest, I mean, there was a lot.
Their heads were all chewed up and everything.
Yeah.
Then we saw the nurses drawn and quartered. And then the Danette said she had to look away at that part.
See that.
And then the most graphic thing they've ever shown on this show, in all the graphic stuff they've shown.
Oh, yeah. Cricket.
Now, Cricket's going to be back. He's going to be with that group on the edge. I think he's going to be crucial to them rebelling against the Roanoke clan.
Yes.
But seeing him disemboweled, and then Matt even says it, like you're watching it, you're like, I can't believe I'm seeing this. And Matt goes, I've heard about being disemboweled, but I hadn't ever seen it. It's like, oh, no kidding.
Yeah, it was crazy. And it was even Kathleen had said something that doesn't bother her, that bothered her a little bit. I can suspend my disbelief and be like, whatever. It wasn't, to me, it wasn't that big of a deal, but
yeah, it was gross, man. It was gross, but, and it was such a heartbreaker. I mean, this is our guy, I mean, to me, all week I was like, give me more Cricket. I think I even wrote to you. And said, is Cricket in it? Before I'd seen it, you're like, yes, and some. And it's like, oh man.
Well, and he had maybe the best line in the whole thing where he goes, "Oh, it's my Uber driver." Like he's sitting there in the middle of nowhere. He's like, "Oh yeah." He goes in there and then he hits on the driver, which was even better.
That was so funny though when he like his phone rings right at this dramatic moment. Oh, my Uber driver.
Yep.
Killing me, man. Yeah, killing me. And when we saw Flora run in front of the car.
Yes.
And I love that. I love how he was like, whoa, wait a minute. He had to get out of the car to deal with it. Yes. I knew he was in trouble right there. I was like, he's not coming out of these woods. I just didn't know they were going to, disembowel the poor guy.
Right. Well, you knew he was going to meet some kind of demise or something was going to happen with him. Because especially when he said, well, I have the answer. I can do a spell that's going to screw her up. Well, of course you're going to die.
Yeah.
Why would you say that right away? You know that's going to happen. So
I do want to highlight the best line in the whole episode too. And there, as always, the writing is so good on this. There were a lot of great lines. Best line. See if you can guess who said this line, Chris.
It's the butcher. I know you're going to say it, aren't you?
No, I've got a better one.
Which one?
What's the butcher one? Let's see. Maybe you've got a better one. You say your butcher one.
Go ahead because I have to look for it. It's in I can't read my handwriting. So
honestly, I'd murder for a Coke Zero.
I think the Uber one's better.
You know what? It might be, but the Coke Zero one came out of nowhere. Because you're seeing all these murders and all this stuff, and he goes over to the fridge. He's like, honestly, I'd murder for a Coke Zero. Killing me, man. Is there a butcher one? There has to be a butcher one too, right?
I'm looking for it. I'll come and think with it. I can't remember it off the top of my head, but I think I have it written down. She has some good lines in this one, I think.
You know what? She always does. Once again, we're watching this thing. I'm watching it with Martha, and the reaction we're having is, my God, these are like the roles of a lifetime. I mean, Kathy Bates, think of the characters she has been able to play on this show. This character, completely different than the other characters she's played.
Yes.
What a blast to play this character, I'm sure. you know.
Uh-huh.
It's just so strong. Everything they're doing, everybody on here has been so strong. It's just excellent. And
Yeah,
I'm so happy to have Cuba Gooding Jr. here because he really fits so well.
yeah, he fits with the cast, and he's really acting his butt off. I think he's doing a great job. So, when she was talking about how long you're gonna be condemned to this place, it's an eternity plus a day.
Yeah,
Which I saw that, I heard that, I'm like, yeah, that's awesome.
yeah, that is a good one. Well, and that's an appropriate line for that character too. Like I'm sure that is how she would speak.
Yes,
You know, it's a really good one.
and even Gaga doing that old English kind of accent, they all did a pretty good. She did a pretty good job. She's hard because she's got that mouthpiece in, and it looks like she's wearing it. It really does look like she's wearing a mouthpiece with her teeth and stuff. But I think she did a good job, and they made her look attractive but really kind of nasty at the same time. So with the eyebrows and all that stuff, I mean, she looked.
We were talking about how they've made her look this season as opposed to last season. Because last season, I mean, you think, okay, Lady Gaga's going to be on. The way they debut her is this like glamorous vampire, right?
Right.
And
she played
never
herself,
right, but she played her character, right? And I never felt like this is the other thing. I didn't feel like that was cheap. Like sometimes, like if they bring on certain celebrity names that are not necessarily known as actors, right?
Right.
They play their character, and it feels kind of cheap. I didn't feel it was cheap. I felt that she was different enough from the Lady Gaga persona, but the whole glam thing fit. Yeah. This season, she's gone the opposite.
Yeah,
this is, and you think those are her real eyebrows?
No, they're not. Maybe who knows? Maybe they are.
Amazing. It's amazing, though. If they are, I got to hand it to her because what guts? I mean, there's nothing wrong with having eyebrows or like that or whatever. But the fact that somebody who is her persona is this glam, dance club. If that is like how her eyebrows really come in, that's super gutsy. Just even if she's just wearing makeup, it's super gutsy.
Oh yeah, no, I mean, I don't think she's afraid to take a chance and not
obviously not.
Yeah, well, and not look 1,000,000%. But everybody on that show, I mean, Kathy Bates looks horrible sometimes. Angela Bassett's looked crazy. Sarah Paulson playing a Siamese twin. I mean, who's going to do that? I mean, come on. I mean, Evan Peters was Lobster Boy. I mean, that whole show was crazy.
When we were watching it, and I was like singing the praises of Dennis O'Hare, and I'm like, last season he was Liz Taylor, and he was a guy whose half his head was burned to a crisp before. It's like, what a crazy run this guy has had.
Well, he's great. I mean, and I was thinking about other stuff he's been in, like when he was in True Blood, he was fantastic. Playing this
amazing actor.
He's really talented dude, and I think like we've talked about, I think they should be recognized more for what they do, and because it's a short run and because it's on FX. I don't think they get the credit because there are so many great shows like that. I mean, you look at like Mad Men, you look at Sopranos, look at Walking Dead. I mean, we'll talk about that in a little bit on our next show, but oh my God.
I think this stands with all of that. I think that previous seasons, I mean, each season, I really do think it's getting better. I think that it was in the final hour a couple of times that they fell a little bit flat.
Sure.
And I think that's how they, that might be where they didn't get quite the respect of like a Mad Men. And frankly, I'm a huge Mad Men fan, but they fell off the map here and there too.
They all do. I think it's hard it's really hard to write that much material.
Yeah.
I mean, we can't write a show's worth of material. And we're talking about people weren't writing years, not one season, seasons. So
I think this is really showing its strength here. I mean, the writing is top notch. The acting is unbelievable. I think it just keeps getting better. And I think it might be those earlier seasons that hindered it a little bit. Plus, it's the horror genre. I mean, until now, the horror genre was fairly weak. Mm-hmm. And this has changed all of that.
Well, I think, with the advent of them being able to get away with more on TV, especially in the cable format, I think they can do some things like they could never show the entrails on network TV, but they can do it on HBO. Now they can obviously do that on AMC and FX. So they can do stuff like that. And, they explore a lot more,
When I think Walking Dead, I think Walking Dead really opened that door so that they could do this. Like Fox then was willing to try it on FX.
Right.
And now you're seeing it on things like The Strain, where it's like, wow, they really are going for it. And it's not just being gratuitous. It's like they're telling a certain type of story and they're allowed to do it. You want gratuitous? Watch Ash versus the Evil Dead. Now that is over the top. But you know what? That's exactly what it should be.
Right. But that's Ash. I mean, come on.
And that's on Showtime.
Right. There's nothing about that character that isn't over the top. Everything is over the top. That whole thing is, that's what makes it great. Because if they toned it down a little bit, it would be just kind of like, oh, it's this bad actor playing this bad role. But since it's over the top, you're like, oh my God. So I think it's good. Now, I think we mentioned it and we have to talk about the bad calls. This whole show is bad calls. But number one, Matt waking up and he knows that they're in trouble and then he goes outside.
Yes.
Is a bad call, even though he was kind of compelled by Lady Gaga on his attraction to or whatever.
Right. Yeah, he was getting lured, but he also kind of made the decision.
Yes.
I mean, didn't you feel that too?
Hold on. He went out and then he's like, oh, I forgot the gun. I have to come back and get the gun. Then I'm going to go out. So it's typical, like, well, I can take care of what it is. But I think that was just a bad call of many bad calls. And then Cricket getting out of the car. What in the blank are you thinking, Cricket?
I think Cricket actually thinks that he's in control of his situation. He's confronted the butcher already. He's done these things already. You know what? And this actually brings up what I had asked before. Who said the thing about the blood moon? It wasn't Cricket. It was Elias that said it.
Well, Elias said it first, and then Cricket explained it after he did the thing with Lady Gaga.
Okay. I was going to say maybe Cricket didn't realize exactly what was happening in that moment, but he did because he was trying to get them out of there, right?
Right. You're right, because the Dennis O'Hare thing is before they come back and find Cricket. So Dennis O'Hare gets killed allegedly by the arrows. Who knows if he wasn't
right? And then they go back to the house and there's Cricket.
So Cricket doesn't know.
Yeah, he didn't say anything about it, right?
Well, but Cricket knew that they were able to have their power because he went with Lady Gaga and then came back.
Oh, true.
So he met them at the house. Cricket went out in the forest for the night, came back, and then talked.
Yeah, but does he know that he can be hurt in this moment? When he goes to save Flora, does he know?
I don't know. I thought so.
And he hadn't found Flora. He wasn't out there. He didn't see the Flora with the people on the edge. So, I mean, maybe it was just he was trying to save her. Maybe he thought he was relatively safe.
Uh-huh.
And when he got captured, he realized, they can hurt me.
Well, I thought he knew that they were vulnerable because I thought he said that, but maybe I'm mixing that up.
Yeah, one of us is wrong. One of us is right. I don't think either of us is completely either way.
Right.
If somebody who's watching can unravel that either on the chat or put it on Facebook, put it on Twitter, that would help.
Yeah.
So what else did we not hit in this?
There's one thing that I don't think we haven't touched on, but is still sitting out there. Lee, who knows a lot about what's going on, is still not back, even though she's being questioned, but they may not find anything with her. I mean, even though she left the house for 4 hours, Lee may pop back in and walk into a big shit show or a big blank show, whichever way you want to say that. I mean, when she gets back, because she still has a part in this. Because for sure. She was there when they said, you are all going to die, but Flora's going to die last. So
do you think she's going to walk in like in the next episode? Like all of this is going down. Cricket's, been disemboweled, like all this stuff. It's the next day. They're still in the house. Okay, Bad Choice Theater number 2. They're still in the house.
Well, where are they going to go? They were being confronted. I mean, number one,
they could have gone before night fell. They could have gotten out of there when he was saying we need to leave, and then they're like, wait a minute, we got to go run over here because we might find Flora. It's like, what's going down,
right? You
need to get out of there. Now, granted, they got Flora back,
yes,
but there had to be a car there, right? How did Elias get there? Wouldn't they run to his car and peel the heck out of there?
Don't they have a car? Oh yeah, no, I think there's a lot of bad choices. I mean, that's why it's a horror story, because they make those bad decisions.
When they went back in the house and they took Flora up to the bedroom, Martha goes, what are they doing? Not to the bedroom. Get out of there. She's right. They should have thrown her in the car and peeled out.
Yeah, but what if the crowd's in between them and the car? mean, maybe that's where the hole
True.
is in this. Maybe that's where the hole is in this story. And
maybe
that's
we
why I
needed to
think-
see the car. Maybe we needed a shot of the car behind them.
Mhm.
And maybe we have that. Maybe we're just not noticing it. Maybe it's back there. We're just not seeing it.
Right.
Could be.
Yeah, because why wouldn't they have run someplace else?
Yeah, and they can't
So
just
then-
like run haphazardly, out of there. Yeah, did you get the Children of the Corn vibe too when
Yeah.
Lady Gaga was walking Cricket through? I was totally like, we keep naming all the shows they're referencing. Total Children of the Corn. Even though they didn't play out the story, it had that like, oh, it's walking behind the rose. Oh no.
It was very Cricket of the Cornish. So
Cricket of the Corn. Oh man. So, all right. Did we cover everything for this episode?
I think so, because we do have to wrap up because we have to go.
We got our This Week in Geek show coming up next.
We
So
do.
thank you for listening, everybody. We will be back next week. Hopefully start on time at 7:15 Central
Yes.
Time. Join us. Tell your friends. Get them to come in and chat with us. Once again, hit us up on Facebook. Look for Disturbed Podcast. Hit us up on Twitter at Disturbed Pod. Go to our website. And one of the best things you can do, one of the most important things you can do to help us out, rate us and review us on iTunes. I know
Please.
people do some, but there's only a few. The more that people do that, the more people find our show. And I think even here on iTunes or on YouTube,
Yes,
you can
you
hit
can do
a thumbs up, and that helps us too. That actually makes a big difference too. So where if you like the show, whatever you can do as far as giving us multiple stars, giving us thumbs up, writing a review, that makes a huge difference. So thank you so much for listening again. Chris, thank you very much.
Thank you, sir.
And you know what? I got to go. My Uber's here.
I'd murder anyone for a diet. What was it, Coke Zero? Sorry, messed up.
Coke Zero.
I'd murder someone for a Coke Zero. Have you ever heard of a term called? Wait, we won't say that.
All right, we're out. Unlike the cast of this show, we know when to get in the car and go home.
That's right.
See you, everybody.